Testing, testing.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Danny.
I'll be a picture in a minute. There you go.
Hey. I'll bring it up, but how'd the hike go? I had another commitment, couldn't be there, but.
It was, as some people have said, the best that we've ever had.
Oh, darn. Oh, well.
The first thing would be the weather.
Yeah.
What spectacular weather it was.
Yeah.
And everything works smoothly. So.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. I love that. We do a lot of hiking up there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. By Spectacle Pond and.
Yep.
Did you go over to the overlook?
No, we didn't go that far. We went, Spectacle was the outlier.
Yeah.
And then we came back to Kinnicum where we had permission to go out there. And then we walked around on the trails that were there and came out on Gross Hill, not the road, but the hill.
Yeah.
So, and then down Sapakonich and back to the parking area.
Great.
Um,
Had some people talking as usual, or?
Yeah, we did. We had John Portnoy, we had Mary Rogers, we had David Wright. So it was all done in about 2 hours and 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. So it should be Fred.
I have not reviewed anything. I saw some issues with the minutes, but I'll let you guys worry about that.
Okay, yeah, the minutes unfortunately got to me late, and as wonderful as Peggy usually does, there were a bunch of problems, so I sort of scrambled last minute and sent it out, and so any input. Hi, Fred.
Hi.
Would be great. I also don't know how to get out of that red, when they are putting something in and not
Oh.
certain about. She and John do the, do the red ink. And
Yep.
from my computer, when I try to do it, it still comes out red. So I'm sure there's some easy way to fix it, but I don't know it.
It depends on how you're fixing it. If you're trying to accept their changes, then there's one box. And then if you're trying to rewrite it in red or black, then there's another box. So,
Right on the page there?
yeah.
Okay.
If you want to go through it someday, I can do that with you. It's pretty easy if we're both online.
Okay, there's
But my computer crashed yesterday.
Oh,
It really crashed.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So I've been up on hiatus. We'll see what happens from there. Hi, Lynn.
hi, Lynn.
Hi there, everyone.
How
So,
you doing? How are you doing?
am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Are you still swimming?
Yes, I swim.
You're doing the class still with the?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
If it feels too chilly, I might not, but so far I have been. Is Maddie still going? I didn't see her.
No, she wimped out this last or
That
decided.
could happen. Yeah. Yeah. I did go Monday. That was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Cindy, who's looking after your computer?
Well, I took it up. Well, I started with Microsoft, and they said they couldn't do it because they couldn't get their hands on it. So they sent me off to the Geek Squad, and that's quite a process.
Where's the Geek Squad?
It's at Best Buy in Hyannis.
Oh, that's right.
And supposedly they'll come visit your house and do all that sort of stuff if you have a month to accept them.
If you have what?
A month to accept them.
Oh,
The date's
wow.
so far out. My trouble is that most of my data is locked up, but I did have a backup system, and I'll start working on that. So see if I can find things.
So do you keep your backup system to date daily?
No, it's supposed to be automatic. I forget who it is.
Hi, Liz. You have an automatic backup. You don't do hard drive with the
I did one about a month ago, and but I haven't done it since.
Yeah, that's what I do too, probably.
You do automatic? What is the software you use?
It's easy. It's easy on the drive, but otherwise it's a service. And I always forget the name of it, but I have to write it down.
I sort of set that up and then I just forgot about it, and making me think I really should get back to it.
Yep, I'm proof.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the service that I use is Carbonite.
For automatic backups.
Yep. I haven't had time to go check it out, but
I've got something called Toolkit. Does anyone know what that is?
I've heard of it, but that's about it.
No.
That's on a Mac, right?
No, I have a Microsoft laptop.
Yeah, I haven't used the toolkit. I've used Carbonite. We used that at the yacht club and very successfully. And it was super easy.
Hi, Tom. I'm calling because we are having a meeting. Are you able to come?
I saw
Okay.
it at 3. Got my so. How are you, Fred?
Hello.
You doing all right?
Oh, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Always have complaints, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so waiting, Tom is gonna sign in a minute, and Peggy's on vacation. John just sent a note to me that he's at the Toyota store in Hyannis, and that was what was supposed to be an hour-long process is continuing on. So I said if he gets a chance to give us a call, but he's apparently got much more of a problem with the car than he thought. So one thing to start, is anybody willing to take the notes? And these can be just real simple notes. You don't need to make them as complex as they have been.
I no longer am able to write very fast. That's my concern.
Bruce, you're recording this?
Yeah, it's recorded.
Somebody can get the recording.
Okay.
Best idea.
I guess that's
I can't think and write at the same time, so
Yeah.
I'm no good at taking
so
minutes.
Okay.
is it easy to get the recording?
Yep.
It is.
Well, I don't know on this one. Whenever I set them up, I can just download the recording onto my computer and then play it back when I want. So.
All right. Well, I'll keep some notes going. Like I said,
I'll
maybe
make
try to do
an
it simply
attempt.
anyway. Okay, so it is 4:36. We have a quorum, so why don't we start the meeting? And I'd really like to keep this as close to an hour as we can, because I do have another commitment after this. No public, or unless Danny wants to say something. Any public?
No.
Okay. So I sent out the agenda. Any corrections, additions to the agenda?
Didn't see any.
Okay, move to accept it.
So
I
moved.
move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. The minutes of the September meeting, and just say a little bit. I don't know if people had a chance to look at it, but Peggy wasn't able to do it until pretty late, and so I went through and made some changes. So if everyone's comfortable with it, we'll put it in. If there are corrections to be made, let me know. I think I found one or two. At one point, we said 4 properties, but another point it says 2 properties of the pieces over by the heron, blue heron. But and 1 or 2 other real minor ones. Any other changes or questions? Okay, move to accept it.
I had a
So moved.
question.
Okay, Lynn.
Well, maybe it's for another time, but the fact that Fred reported a discrepancy between reports of the OSC fund balance for 2023 the town accountant says 9,993, and Mary Rogers said 119,545. Is Mary, is that from the CPC?
That was from the CPC meeting that we had, and I had something to say about that, our meeting today.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that then if we're gonna.
Okay, yep. Okay, hi, Tom. All right. Okay, all in favor of accepting? We didn't get it.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are accepted. Just a couple of things I wanted to bring up. I think everybody knows it's voting day. So if you haven't voted, there's still, I assume you're still in Colorado, so that won't.
I mailed in my ballot
Oh, good.
early
Yeah.
last week. Yeah, we had her set us up on the
Great.
absentee ballot. So Randy and I both voted and both agreed
Great.
after we sealed them. So we found out. So excellent. So there's more. So I can't wait to hear what the final outcome is.
Yeah.
If you're looking for it tomorrow morning, look on the secretary or clerk's report, Jennifer Conchals.
Okay.
That's where you might find it.
Okay.
And just two other, I think everybody knows that Maurice is passed, and hopefully along the way we'll get involved. I think there's a wetlands area that should be in conservation, but I think that'll go. The other thing, just to comment, they had looked initially at that as a possibility of that is using CPC funds, open space CPC funds, as a way to decrease the funding. It just was too small a piece to make much of a difference, and the state guys recommended against it, so that did not happen.
Who
Well,
recommended?
you would have had to go through appraisals and all that sort of stuff, and that starts to cost real money.
Right. And, the value of the land, the unbuildable land, is not great to begin with, so it didn't make sense. Okay, and the last thing is the last ZBA meeting for Lawrence Road is coming up on Thursday, so just FYI. All right, John's not here. Property management, Fred?
Nothing. I stopped by to see if there'd been any changes in the books, and there hadn't been, and Meredith wasn't around to talk to, so I'll have to get in touch with her and see where that's at. But we'll be.
Can I make a?
We'll be
I'll
taking
make
a look at them.
I'll make an unofficial comment. We're not going to have an AmeriCorps kid this year.
Oh, that's too bad.
And we will have group projects, so we'll need to do that. And so if you need help on inspections, let us know. Maybe we can combine some inspections since so many of them are contiguous.
Right. Yeah, it'd be great to work together on that anyway, Danny, but I think the inspections part of it, we got people are willing to do it, and we've been doing pretty well. We'll see how much the last AmeriCorps member came in and had all kinds of great ideas. She was going to put it on a computer so we could actually put stuff in the computer. And I'm not sure. I have sent a couple of notes to Hillary, and with who knows, with Maurice's or other things, she may be busy, but I haven't got a response yet. But that was one of the things I was asking. And I had heard from the park that they weren't getting their AmeriCorps member, so I wondered if that would be the case. That's a shame.
Well, the AmeriCorps Cape Cod would like to have 24 kids. They got 11.
Do we know
And
why?
their batting average is much better than the rest of the nation and the state.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why has that dropped so much?
Only can speculate, Lynn, but the speculation is that it's such a strong job market out there for college grads.
Yeah.
That they don't have to suffer financially to work for AmeriCorps.
Right.
Oh.
All right. Okay, trail guides.
I don't have anything significant to report. I've been adding the stock in the library, but it's moving slowly. I don't think people are reaching out much. Denny, they don't seem to have the new herring overlook one in the library anymore.
Okay, thank you. We need to, you and I need to get on that, but there are other crises before there.
As far you're going to put some more overlook ones out in the library? Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and Peggy's not here for community outreach. And may not have started yet, Danny, with the reading, trails reading. I forget the name of it, but
That hasn't started yet. That you're trying to think of Story Walk,
Storyblock.
which is a registered trademark. So we've got to be careful on all that stuff, but we just haven't gotten together. We're going to get together right after. Now that it's after Labor Day, we can get together. Oh, what's her name in the library is all
Neil
excited
Anna.
about it. So
Anna,
Anna.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get a meeting going with Anna, and we'll invite Peggy, make sure she can be there.
Great. Okay, the Conservation Trust, the only thing that I had was the remind people about the Coast Sweep, which is coming up on October 10th.
Monday,
This is-
yeah.
And that's being supported by a whole bunch of groups in town. We meet over at Mayo Beach, and they're collecting data. So go out and pick junk up off the beaches, but they're actually documenting all the data and taking a look at all that. So if
There's
people
a press
comment-
release. There's a press release frozen in my computer.
Okay, so it's 9 o'clock that's
Yes.
it's happening,
and Mayo, did you say?
and Mayo Beach, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the walk took place, and Denny was saying a great walk.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a great walk.
Yeah, did you go to one with it?
Yes.
The descriptor this year seems to be great, not just good.
Okay, Friends of the Herring Riverland.
I don't know if you saw the invite I sent out earlier today for the Friends of Herring Rivers annual meeting tomorrow. It's at 5 o'clock at the Chequesset Country Club. And Andrew Gottlieb, Director of Associates to Preserve Cape Cod, is the keynote speaker. And the title starts with Water Quality Trends on Cape Cod, where we are headed and what we can do about it. So everyone's welcome. Did you manage to see the invitation today?
Yeah.
I think so.
I did say.
I haven't been home much.
Okay. And the project is now fully, it's at an exciting point, fully permitted and with grants from the state and federal groups. It's now, bids should be opening for construction by the end of the month.
Month of September?
That's
month
what
of
I've been told.
Oh, great.
It'll open for bids. Yeah, yesterday, the 20th, the first event of Celebrate Climate Week was held at the Dike with the commissioner, the executive commissioner of the Department of Fish and Game celebrating the 20 million plus grant from the DER. And my understanding is that Sarah Peake and Julian Sir were present. And then earlier this month, Elizabeth Warren visited the site and was also very positive about the project.
Yeah, great. So when was it, they're sending out the RFPs or asking for them, and when? I missed that one.
The end of the month. Bruce, I've got this typed up so I can send.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, John's not here for the housing partnership. For those who missed it, he is stuck in Orleans getting his car fixed, and much more of a process than he had thought. Obviously Maurice has been approved, and so moving forward with that. And again, the last ZBA meeting on Lawrence Road is on Thursday. I forget the time, but it's the ZBA meeting.
I had a question for Lynn. Is there something going on with the executive director? I saw something came out from the Chamber of Commerce looking for a new executive director. What is that?
Yes,
Did I read that right? Or
yes, I think she finishes at the end of this month. She resigned.
She's finished.
Hmm?
She's finished.
At the end, well, she'll be at the annual meeting tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Well,
Craig.
is there something we should know about that or not?
She put in her resignation some time back.
Okay.
I don't think, that there's anything in particular. It wasn't anything, strange.
Well, it just seemed strange to me that here where all this money's coming in and the project's getting started, for good, for real, that the executive director resigns, but maybe I don't know something.
She did some time back, Tom.
I see. Okay.
And the other thing, Tom, is that money will go to the seashore, not to the Friends of the Herring River.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
good point.
understand that. Yeah.
No, and they,
And the town, right? Isn't the town?
And the town,
Yeah.
which is another scary one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
well, the executive council, I guess.
Ryan.
Okay, thanks, Lynn, with the, for the CPC, Fred.
As Lynn pointed out in the minutes, I reported 2 figures for the amount of money reserved for open space in this CPA funds. One was given by the town accountant, and the other by the assistant Mary Rogers for the CPC. And as it turns out, Mary Rogers' figure was the correct one. They resolved what the difference was. And so her figure was 119,543, which is currently reserved for open space.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Yeah,
So the CPC will be meeting on October 26th for a first look at the applications for 2023. I had talked to Bruce earlier about whether we could get something in for this round, but I think we don't really have something that we can move on right now.
yeah, and what I say is, if people see, it isn't just my position to find some properties. If anybody has some ideas with this, they by all means let us know. And if we can work with the Conservation Trust, there's some money to tap into with that we have to use. So if there's something that comes up that we can do, and we've done it before with Clover and Pinto, and that would be another thing that to make something happen there.
Time is short to get something in for this round.
No, it's just,
What round are you talking about, Fred?
Well, we're going to start looking at them this fall, and I think the final decisions, they're made like last year. We didn't make the final decisions on them until early December, because we get people in, talk about and answer questions that we have about them.
Do you have a sense of when we're ready to talk conservation lands with the CPC? I mean, just all the money's been going to affordable housing, so.
Well, we have reserved now 119,000, which isn't a lot for buying land, but
Yep. But you
something
think,
we gotta keep in mind that we have there, and
okay,
And that couldn't help in any way with the Maurice thing?
What I was saying, Lynn, is they actually looked at that.
Yeah,
And we had a meeting with the people from the state, and it's just the costs of doing it. If they don't exceed how much money they'd save, it certainly was complicated. And their advice was not to go. The state advice was not to go forward with it, and the Board of Selectmen followed that advice.
okay.
So that doesn't mean, those properties, and certainly the wetlands properties can't be built on. And so, we should be involved with that. But the idea of using it for funding, the land's just not worth enough to make it worthwhile. And now that it's in town hands, it's a transfer,
Right.
it's not so,
Right.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, NRAB, Tom?
Well, not too much to report, actually. The article that was in the town meeting warrant was indefinitely postponed again. That's the survey of flora and fauna, Wellfleet Harbor, repeating a study that was done 50 some odd years ago. With it's had a lot of support, but again, there's no, until the free cash is released, it's put off. So, and John, as everyone knows, John Reel has moved to Maine. He was the mainstay of the committee, so we're kind of thrashing around and trying to figure out what we're going to do about that. So, there's an active subgroup of the committee that's been trying to get this pond status of the ponds organized, and I've talked about that before, and it's in progress. Again, it's an important thing. They've been working with the state, with the seashore, and with the town to, see who really has jurisdiction over all this. But it's a lot of issues regarding the quality of the water, which we're trying to do through the science people at the seashore. And they've done some things. We're working on doing some more. So that's about it.
I think it's real tricky because, the towns, except for a couple of them, the town has most of the beaches. And the park owns a good part of the property around the ponds, and the state, any of the great ponds, the state owns the water. So it really is complicated to kind of sort all that stuff out. All right. The just old business very quickly. The subcommittee had taken the summer off essentially, and so we're looking to get back working on this in the near future. The last time we met, people asked that I recontact the town for money because we were in good financial shape. And I just think it's a waste of time. I mean, if people want me to do it, I'll give it a try, but I think things aren't what we hoped they would be in town. We've just spent a lot of money. And I had a lengthy talk when we started to do this with Rebecca and Rebecca Slick, Ruffy. And they just were not in favor of even modest support of it. So I just don't think they're going to come up. If we could get a property, if there was a property to get, even if we're just applying, even if it wasn't successful at town meeting, we could get the money to hire Mr. Thibodeau. But that the town has to put the money out front, so you have to get them, there's no free cash, that's not happening in the near future. So, you know, I talked with John, who really has done a bunch of this stuff, and he felt more optimistic than
Which John?
some of us. How about you, Liz? What do you think? You're good at this stuff.
Which John, as Lynn asked?
John Creed.
Oh,
What do you think, Liz? Do you think we can move along and get this done in a reasonable time, or?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah, summer's a chaos for everybody anyway, because that's when everybody's family wants to come visit, and then you're stuck. So, which is fine. I mean, we love family, but I don't see why. I think we're closing in on it. I think
Yeah.
we've passed the halfway point,
Yeah.
definitely on it. So we just have to iron out a few more things, but I think it's reasonable assumption that we can get this done sooner than later.
and a lot of the information that they need is in the geology of the Wellfleet has not changed appreciably, except for loss of the dunes. Okay, titles I haven't done anything on, with properties. The access issues, again, I haven't been involved if anyone's heard anything, but just say there were a couple that the town meeting, not this last one, but the one before, gave something like $3,000 to take a look at the property over by Agar and to make a decision around whether what that was about, and whether if we had access to the Agar property, I'd be really in favor of you know, getting some access there.
You don't know where that stands?
I don't know where it is now. I mean, they just got, it's only a few months ago. I'd be surprised if they've got anything yet, but
Because
so, but
we have the money to buy a public easement, public access easement, if that gets resolved.
absolutely. You know, I think this is really a win-win for us if they can do it, because you know, we have some money, we're looking for things to do that we can take that out of our money and still have a chunk left over. So if either that, or
Yeah.
Ryan was mentioning the over by Cove View Road, there's another path which I think is trickier, just because you know, somebody has to approach the buyers, and it's something that's been used in an ongoing way for years, and you know, it's a risky proposition. I mean, sometimes you can go over and say, we'd like to make this a permanent easement, and it's like, what? People, you know, I mean, I've been asking around, see if people know the owners. One of the owners is very new. Haven't found anybody, but you know, but he knows people over there. I mean, I think that's the first step, is to try to
I think,
make sure we're not stepping into anything.
I think doing public access there could be creating a parking issue along Cove Road. It might not go well.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure what they do now. I mean, at least according to Ryan, they use it.
I see people park along there, and
Oh, they just park.
you
No,
know, they just stop.
no.
who's working on this when you say they're
It was the
access committee?
Public
shellfish,
access.
not shellfish access, but the access committee, you know, water access,
Beach access?
and they were the
Melissa
ones.
Yao.
Say that
Melissa
again?
Yao. Melissa Yao.
Mhm.
Is she the permanent one now, Jenny? They were rotating.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think they're having trouble getting a full complement.
And what does Melissa Yao do?
She's a shellfish person.
Mhm.
And she's now the head apparently of the access committee. They were rotating
Okay,
around.
that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
get to.
Just one other thing I wanted to bring up, but as I was thinking about it with the NRAB, is John suggested that since things are slowing down in terms of getting more property, could we become more involved in the care of the property? And so I actually did put a note in to Hillary about that. I think it's a big project, and I think we do real well, both the Conservation Trust and us, with the trails. There's a number of properties that are getting overgrown with briars and invasives, and is that something that the Conservation Commission or Conservation Trust wants to start looking at? Should we be? Any thoughts?
We generally have a management plan of do nothing. But there are some, like the head of Duck Creek, where we may not have it well documented, but we've got it in mind.
Right.
And we're going after all that trumpet vine and all that sort of stuff. And so there is a bit of a management plan there. And that's always been part of what and we do that in order for terrapins to have hatching grounds.
Right.
Well, there may be some areas that are at least could be considered for certain type of bird habitats, like what they're doing at Audubon. It would take a survey of all the properties and so on to look at that.
Yeah, but a good time to do it, we're going to do the inspections. And, I think that to take this on for everything is more than makes sense. But are there properties out there that we could be doing some things like Denny is doing with the head of Duck Creek? Anyway, just
A candidate for bird issues is the Walker property. You guys have a CR on top of us, so we ought to be doing it together, as you do at head of Duck Creek.
Yeah. I walked at head of Duck Creek the other day because I was waiting for my car. And I guess, when do you usually do a cleanup there, Jenny?
Well, we're probably headed for sometime in October, Lynn.
Okay. Yeah.
I should report to this group what's happening on AmeriCorps. But so when you want that, Bruce, let me know. But
Okay.
I'll just do it. AmeriCorps, as I mentioned, only filled 11 out of 24 positions. And they're looking at Wellfleet as one of the ones who will have to give up an individual placement. So it'll be ourselves, and it'll be a health and conservation department and the transfer station department. So we did get them to say that they would give us some preference on group service projects. So that's certainly what I'd like to chase after. And the head of Duck Creek is a great group service project for probably 4 or 5 people, and that's about it. But just attacking the good old trumpet vine. But Barbara Benisel also wants to make more sand out there. A bunch of switchgrass or whatever kind of grass that is, has rooted into what used to be the sand.
Right.
So we're going to be looking at trying to get rid of that.
Yeah, I saw that.
But there were 100 hatches out there this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know, because we have our gardens on WCT land as well, and I haven't figured it out. We did not have a great year, but we did things went much better at the end than they started at the beginning. We're using a new method of protection, so we'll see how it worked out. Okay, the most critical thing, I think everyone's talking about how long these things take. Just to reiterate that, we have 4 properties that I think are really worth thinking about, and at least 3 for sure, and a 4th one to think about, that I'd like to get transferred for next town meeting. The process is that it comes to me, and then I bring it to Conservation Commission. It may be a month to do that. Then it goes out. I don't need to belabor the process, just to say it takes forever to get it done. And so if we could set up a meeting to look at these properties in the near future and get some input in terms of what people are thinking. And we can get a start on that.
Bruce, do you have the parcel numbers?
Yeah, so the parcel numbers are 29, 400 and 505,
Ah, okay.
okay? 36, 288 and 289. And the other one that I was going to bring up in a minute, but town now owns it, but we're looking at a plan for the property, it would be 42, 125, 126, 127, and 132.
Though, I thought those were bought for conservation purposes.
Yeah, those were actually donated for conservation purposes.
Donated, so.
But I just wanted to, have people go over there. Again, I sent a message to Hillary suggesting that one of the things we ought to be doing is working out some sort of a process, from my perspective, to move property that the town owns from town to Conservation Commission takes an act of Congress. I mean, it's just crazy how much you have to go through.
Right.
At the same time, these properties you mentioned last time came to the town, were accepted by the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator without any input from Conservation Commission. And I mean, this just doesn't make sense. We should have some sort of a process. Really what happened was the lawyer said, you can do it. And they said, fine. I'm actually all in favor of it. I mean, we can get, there's close to 6 acres, over 6 acres out there that are now going to conservation. But there's a large structure on the property that should not be there if the land's going to be in conservation. Significant liability issue. And I just don't believe that the Board of Selectmen looked at that. And so I think the message is into Hillary around that one as well, because I think to have some sort of a process, whether that would have formally have to go to town meeting or whether that's something we could just work out, with the Board of Selectmen, I'm not sure, but those are the properties. So there's 3 areas to look at.
Bruce,
Yeah.
Bruce, the last one you mentioned, 42, map 42, and those, are those the ones you're talking about that have been donated to the town
Those are.
conservation purposes?
Right. And so the only reason to look at those is if we become part of the process for, deciding what to do with the land. We may not be, it may just be in Hillary, but certainly to give some advice around, how this might proceed in a better way in the future. I think makes sense just to take a look at those. That can be a quick look, but the other properties.
Bruce?
Yeah.
On those, you really should talk to Hillary, but I would try to push her into the mode of they're already for conservation purposes. We just like to get the Conservation Commission name on the title or the care and custody. So.
Right, because if they're not, what does that mean? I'm puzzled.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm still
Yeah, I
not
hear you.
understanding. I'm not understanding what you mean, Danny. I thought that it couldn't be accepted because of the structure, and no?
No,
No,
Fine.
no, it's been
actually,
accepted.
it was a surprise that we could accept it without going through town meeting because of the structure.
Oh,
But the structure is a problem. I mean, at the same time, I want to be careful. The land was given, it's a good amount of land. The marsh is terrific, it's almost 4 acres and the other properties aren't bad. The biggest problem is this isn't a teeny shack that's over there that they can rip down in, an hour or two. It's a pretty sizable structure that I think they're going to have to remove. We're an advisory committee. It's not up to us ultimately to do it, except that we can give our opinion. But, you know, I was very surprised that Hillary and the Conservation Commission were completely left out of this decision. I mean, one of the reasons I didn't act quickly is I thought, no, you know, it's in conservation, that's where it's going. And it wasn't. So I just think that's something we need to fix, or with
Well,
conservation need to fix.
Frankly, Bruce, with a little bit of destruction of the surrounding area, the DPW could take that out in a half a day.
Okay,
Mm.
that's easy. I just, you know, as long as, I'm not sure they're aware of it. I mean, I did write, you know, my letter to them. I really let them know that there was a structure over there. And Hillary knows now, and I gave her all the information. And so I assume there's somebody's going to act on that. I think
Where is it?
it's up by Blue Heron.
Oh,
Blue Heron Road, if you go down, you take a
Yeah.
left, and it's very close to Route 6. And there are 3 properties there, and there's further in, right next to the one we put into conservation this year, the marsh. That was 132. This is 137, or the other way around.
Other way around.
Yeah. But anyway, the other two parcels each. One is by Payne Hollow Road, and that most of that property all along there is in conservation already. And so these are 2 pieces to look at. One of them has been an access piece to the pond, and you know, I think we're going to run into some resistance. There's actually some asphalt that goes down at the beginning, et cetera. But at least to look at that, because that's it is wetlands property for the most part, and et cetera. The other property is off of Bond Road, off Old Wharf. So people who know where, just before the road turns into the dirt road on the left, if you go down there and cut down, and I'm blocking on the name of the one, you go down Bond to the very end. And Conservation Trust has one property down there is in the process. Is that moving forward anyway?
Slowly. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So these 2 properties are right next to the conservation property. So I think it's really, again, would be a great, they're both on the water, both have some lowland portion.
Is that the 36, 288 and 289, Bruce?
It is.
Okay.
Okay, the only thing we talked about last time, and I haven't heard anything about, is having somebody from the select board be a liaison to consider that. And I haven't heard any more on that. I can check on that. Okay, and I think that's it. Anybody? But should we set up a time now? I mean, my word, this is part of the problem. When are you back, Liz?
I am driving back. So I'll be back at some point, but I will be in my house by the time if the meetings go as normally planned. I will be back in the fleet on would be the 18th.
Okay.
So I'm around, and I can also help with property stuff and visits and things like that once I get back.
Right. You know, the other thing I'd say is we could set a time, and as many people as can do it. If not, it's very easy. Well, I shouldn't say, with the exception of the property by Bond Road, the other 2 are very easy to find. You can see them both from the road. And so if some people can't come, you could pick another time to check them out. But again, I'd really like to find a framework, because even this is, we're cutting it close. I mean, CPC, we're not even close. You have to have something, in my opinion, the year before you can do it. Even with this, if we want to do it for next year, we really have to get things moving and make some decisions. So is there a day that's particularly good or not good for people, or should we just do it on our own?
When were you thinking roughly of doing this?
We could do it, I could do it Thursday, I think. My calendar. You know, this week, Thursday or Friday probably, or next week I'd have to look, but you want me to send out some times and see whether we,
Yeah, Thursday and Friday.
All right.
Friday afternoon, I could not do it, but
no.
mm,
And I think it would be a pretty quick, with the exception of Bond Road that you have to park and move down. We have a friend who lives on Bond Road though, and I'm sure he would let us park our cars there. But all the rest are just right on the road. Easy to get to. So I will send out some dates and see whether we can come up with what most people can come up with. Okay, anything else? Okay, I will try to fashion some notes. I used to do this, so. And move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
No,
no one's opposed.
I don't trust.
Sorry, I was late.
No problem. You got something going on, huh?
Well, it's just, I was just outside working on something and I had lost track of time, to be honest with you. So,
That's good. Better than sitting at the Toyota place
right.
waiting for your car to. All right. Okay. See you later.
See you next month.
See you next month.
All right.